Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been here. I'm here today in Chicago City, so I will explore the Chicago City. And if you guys like my video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel.
Shades of white. Now, fun fact, each one of those tiles is very fragile, almost like, think like porcelain. Very fragile, which means that you risk breaking the tiles on the outside if you ever clean it in any conventional way, which means that anytime the building does need to be cleaned, it has to be done so by hand. You'll see people suspended up there with soft bristle brushes and a soapy misting system. They're spraying it down, scrubbing the building nice and clean. I like to think they're doing so we make sure to make a good first impression on the tours. Now, as you pass underneath here, take a look just in front of you. We're going to see the second tallest building in Chicago. This is Trump International Hotel and Tower, standing at 1,388 feet tall. Now, Trump Tower is a great example of a style known as contextualism. Now, contextualism is an architectural style started out in the 1980s, but this one's from 2009. Regardless, contextualism is all about complementing your surroundings through architecture. We can actually see how Trump Tower does this, with not one, not two, but three setback patios there, which each match the height of surrounding buildings. Now you can notice how the first balcony roughly matches the height of the Wrigley building, first one we talked about. Second there matches the height of a couple. You can see the Jewelers building, the one with the 4 pylons, the rocket ship Mather Tower, as well as Marina City a little bit further down. From the top right-hand side, the last setback matches the height of AMA Plaza, which is the black box building coming up directly behind Trump Tower here. Now, Trump Tower was designed by an architect named Adrian Smith, who is also responsible for the design of currently the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, located in Dubai. How tall is the Burj Khalifa? We'll take 2 Trump Towers and then stack them right on top of each other, and that's just about the height, about 2,717 feet tall. That's why we call Adrian Smith the world's tallest architect, even though he's like 5'7", but you can see how he got his name. He's also responsible for Jeddah Tower, that's currently under construction in Saudi Arabia. Designed that one as well, and when it is complete, it will take the place as the world's tallest. At that point, we're reaching over 3,000 feet tall, and I expect the buildings to just keep on getting taller and taller from there. Now take a look here to the right-hand side, folks. We have what look like 2 upright corn cobs hanging out side by side on the river. That's what everyone calls them, the corn cob buildings. That right there is Marina City. Now, Marina City is a product of the 1960s. And the 1960s is a time when this was a very industrial downtown area. Steel, iron mills, lots of pollution in the water, distilleries. It was not the most pleasant environment to be located next to. In general, people did not really want to live downtown, and so to change this, an architect named Bertrand Goldberg designed a city within a city as a means to bring middle-class America to desire to live next to the river. Now with that, Marina City here, you have all sorts of things: grocery stores and shopping centers, a restaurant as you can see, a dock for your boat, valet parking for your car at the base of the building, and it even had other fun things like an ice skating rink, a bowling alley, which is still operational today, as well as a movie theater, which has now been turned into the House of Blues if you want to check out some live music, if you're as a country. Now here to the right-hand side is a great encapsulation of Art Deco. And this right here is the Merchandise Mart, the original home of Marshall Field and Company, the company behind Macy's department store. Now, the Merchandise Mart here is from 1930, designed by Graham Anderson Probst and White once again. But notice, with Art Deco, you have these deep inset windows, polished Indiana limestone, repetitive patterns, vertical columns drawing your eyes upward, along with those metallic accents. It really gives you this sense of magnitude and scale and luxury within its design, which is all what Art Deco was trying to encapsulate. It's very telling of the time as well. We're talking about the 1920s. We call it the Roaring 20s, which was a time of prosperity and luxury in America up until the very end of the decade, 1929, and then everything changed. Now we'll have plenty of time to discuss that, but moving underneath Franklin Street, we're now entering into the modern-day trophy case of Chicago. Now coming up in front of you, you're going to see a lot of contemporary architecture, and most of these in front of you and to the right were completed in the last 5 to 10 years. They're brand new. Now, if we look directly in front of us, you might see this red spiral sculpture hanging out there next to the river. That right there is known as the Constellation. It's designed by an architect named Santiago Calatrava. And if you can't see it now, don't worry, we're going to see it. We're going to pass right by it. It's going to be on the left-hand side as we check out the North Branch. But yes, the Constellation. Now, Santiago Calatrava, he's another architect from Spain. You remember Ricardo Bofill? I said he was the only architect who had buildings along the river. Well, Santiago Calatrava was supposed to have a building along the river on the main branch right next to Lakeshore Drive. It was going to stand at over 2,000 feet tall and was going to be the tallest building in North America. So what happened? Well, 2008, the financial crisis, the recession, and so production was canceled. Now in its place there are 2 new residential high-rises, but if it was not for that, we would have had the tallest skyscraper in North America located here in Chicago, and instead we have the red spiral, not quite as tall. Now, right over here to the right, this is Salesforce Tower. Salesforce Tower is actually the most recent addition to Wolf Point here. It's from 2023. Brand spanking new here to Wolf Point. In front of it, you can actually see on this railing there, every 2 of them or so, or every one in this case, there's a circle with a Y shape in the middle. That's in reference to Wolf Point. It's where the north, south, and main branch of the river all come together, so it makes a Y symbol. We call that the municipal symbol of Chicago. You'll see that symbol popping up all over the place, so keep an eye out for it. Coming up on the North Branch here, folks, just in front of us is the Carroll Avenue Railroad Bridge. We have plenty more to talk about in that respect on our way back down, but for now, take a look across from it at this pink, peachy colored building. Now that right there is the Fulton House. Doesn't look like much, but it is actually the oldest building we'll be seeing on our tour today. Dates back to 1898. It has been there for quite some time. Did not always look like this. Originally, there were no windows or balconies. It was simply a giant pink freezer box. Yes, a dry storage freezer warehouse for the meat packing industry, which was very influential in Chicago in the early 1900s. You'd have stockyards throughout this area butchering the meat, and you'd store it in a freezer box like this. It was not until a renovation in the 1980s that those balconies and windows were added, development by Harry Weiss. Still exists as apartments and condos today. Now next to it here is some more work by architect Harry Weiss. You can see the triangle shape of the roof. You can notice triangles on the roof itself. Harry Weiss loves triangles. I really do mean it. You see triangles in almost all of his work. It's inspired by sailboats along Lake Michigan, as Harry Weiss was a big fan of sailboats and a sailor himself, so a lot of nautical themes within his designs. Postmodernism is the style that we're looking at with these townhomes, and notice how these patios are facing the river. Well, these date back to 1988, during a time when it was not very common to see architecture embracing the river in any capacity. What was much more common is what we see to the right-hand side. This is the East Bank Club. It's a high-end fitness center from the year 1980. You can see this is the back side of the building, completely facing away from the river, and that was much more common. As the decade continued, the quality of the river started to improve, and then it improved and improved and improved. And if you take a look here to the left-hand side, we can see the Kinsey Park townhomes, much more modern-day townhomes from the late 90s and early 2000s. And now we can see the patios and the trees and the lawn and the flower beds and the sidewalk all facing and embracing what the river has to offer. Gives us a good visual representation of how much has changed as the quality of the river has improved over time. Now I know that we just got started. I'm going to take a very quick break off the mic here as we loop the boat back around and start heading down the South Branch. Still plenty to see in that direction. But for now... Now, coming up here to the left-hand side, I want to highlight the Nuveen building. It's the one with the Nuveen symbol right up there, up on top. It's actually another great example of contextualism along the river. And it's actually the only one within Wolf Point that's not, I guess, that recent. It's from 1983. as opposed to the last 5 to 10 years with the rest in Wolf Point. But it's a great example of contextualism. You can notice how the curve of the building matches the curve of that section of the Chicago River. There's also blue and green glass in alternating patterns. The blue color complements the sky, and the green color says hello to the river down below. Fun fact for you, if you've ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, well, hey, Ferris Bueller's dad worked at the very top of the Newbie building. So I'm going to talk about 3 today. But 1, they're built up towards the roof. Don't worry, it's inside. You can't see them exposed. But up there are 12 concrete containers filled with 160,000 gallons of water. They are known as inertial slosh dampers, or tuned slosh dampers. Works like water in a bucket, so as the wind hits the side of the building, the water inside of the tanks will slosh in the opposite direction, helping to counteract the wind, find the building's center of gravity. We have 2 other ways to talk about it, but that's number 1. Now, 150 North Riverside was designed by Getch Partners, and they also designed this building that we see to the left. This is the Bank of America building. As you can see, another recent structure, that was from 2017, this one from just about 2021 when they finished up. And so they have these steel tripod beams vaulting up the 3rd floor, public walking space underneath it. Now, I really do love both of those buildings because they're both great examples of how limitation within architecture can actually breed innovation, right? If it was not for the 30 feet back ordinance, they'd be regular old skyscrapers touching the ground, but instead it